Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the WrestleMania 36 Night 2 review. And Night 2, of course, took place last night. WrestleMania 36 is in the books, thank God, because this whole WrestleMania was a disaster, and I'm glad that we all got through it. I'm glad it's finally done and over with. But Night 2, of course, it was from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And to be honest, I gotta say, Night 2 of WrestleMania 36 last night, I thought it was okay. I thought it was better than Night 1, even though, the show was still terrible. Don't get me wrong. It was an okay, Night 2 was okay, but still terrible, though. But overall, I thought it was better than Night 1. The matches that were on Night 1, 3 matches, which I went over in my Night 1 review. The ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, the Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins match, and the Boneyard match between Styles and The Undertaker. Those 3 matches were good and decent. Everything else that was on Night 1 was fucking terrible. But overall, this WrestleMania, it was a thumbs down show. When you put both nights together, it was a thumbs down WrestleMania. But let's get started with Night 2 of WrestleMania, which happened last night. Then, of course, I'm going to be doing my Monday Night Raw review later on tonight. So you guys are going to be getting 2 videos today. So be on the lookout for the Monday Night Raw review later on tonight. But I'm going to start with the match that was on the Kickoff Show, which I didn't get to watch, but it was Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Liv Morgan ended up getting the win. While I'm reading here, she ended up rolling up Natalya for the win. So you go, Liv Morgan ended up winning the match. And then Night 2 of WrestleMania 36 began. Of course, with Stephanie McMahon again, welcoming us back for Night 2 of WrestleMania. She gave a message, similar to the one that she delivered on Saturday night, at Night 1 of WrestleMania. And then we got the pirate-themed video package once again. And we go into the Performance Center. Rob Gronkowski, who we all dread and see in during Night 1, and of course Night 2. He welcomed us to WrestleMania, starts hyping the show. Who gives a shit when Rob Gronkowski was shown? But the first match on Night 2 that we saw was Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. And this was a decent match between both Charlotte and Rhea. Charlotte ended up taking down Rhea Ripley first. Charlotte ended up mocking Rhea. Charlotte ended up dropping Rhea by her leg. Ended up going for the figure 4. Rhea ended up kicking Charlotte away. Charlotte ended up taking Rhea Ripley into the corner. Rhea comes right out of the corner, got in Charlotte's face. Charlotte then shoved Rhea. She unloaded with chops to Rhea. And towards the end of the match, Charlotte ended up bridging into the figure 8 Rhea Ripley ended up hanging on, not wanting to tap, but Rhea had no choice but to tap out to Charlotte with the figure eight. And so, Charlotte is your new NXT Women's Champion. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. So, Charlotte is now going to be on NXT, and watch. They are going to let Charlotte run through the whole NXT Women's Division, which, without a doubt, NXT Women's Division is the best women's division in WWE on the NXT brand. And they're just going to make Charlotte run through the woman in the division. Fucking pathetic. This whole thing was done just for NXT to boost their ratings because AEW has been beating NXT in the ratings. And they want to think that Charlotte is a draw for NXT. Charlotte is not a fucking draw. She's not. That's the only reason why that this was done. For them to boost the NXT ratings because AEW has been kicking their ass in the ratings. That's all this was. All it was. And who knows, maybe it could be setting up, maybe Charlotte versus Bianca, because originally there was talk about doing Charlotte versus Bianca, and then Bianca win the NXT Women's Championship. But who knows? I highly doubt that they're going to go that way. Highly doubt they're going to do that, but who knows? But are you all happy that Charlotte is the new NXT Women's Champion? I for sure am not. This was a Vince McMahon move right here. This had Vince McMahon's fingerprints all over it. So just what we need, Vince to inject his poison into NXT. Pathetic. Absolutely fucking pathetic. You think Triple H will be fine with this? Highly doubt not. There you go. Charlotte, like I said, is your new NXT Women's Champion. And it was a decent match, but ending was fucking stupid. Charlotte win the NXT Women's Championship. Charlotte, I said it before, Charlotte is the female Roman Reigns. She is. Might as well just call her Charlotte Reigns. You all might as well. I don't know what WWE's deal is with Charlotte and putting her in, or giving her, rewarding her to be in the title picture. In a woman's title picture. Oh, it's because she's a Flair. But unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know what else to say. Rhea deserved to retain the NXT Women's Championship. But dropping it to Charlotte, fucking stupid. This was all done for NXT to get a ratings boost. Because AEW has been kicking NXT's ass in the ratings. This is probably why it was done. Moving on. So we had Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley, a match that should not have been on the WrestleMania card. Did this match scream WrestleMania worthy? Obviously it didn't. This was an easy win for Aleister Black. Because at the start of the match, Aleister and Lashley end up locking up. Lashley ended up shoving Aleister Black away. Oh, and I forgot to mention Lana, of course, was out there. God help us. And yeah, she was screaming out there too. I was about ready to mute the TV. So they both Aleister and Lashley tangle. Lashley ends up slamming Aleister onto the mat. Lashley went for a bear hug, but Aleister ended up fighting off Lashley. They end up on the floor outside. Black attempts to hit a moonsault to Lashley, but Black ended up missing the moonsault. And Lashley ended up delivering a belly-to-belly on Aleister on the floor. Lana was shown clapping for Lashley. So at the end of the match, you had Lashley ended up catching Aleister with a power slam, went for the pin. Black ended up kicking out of it. Lashley ended up using the middle rope. And Lana ended up looking for a shot to Aleister Black, but she didn't get it. Lashley ended up delivering a suplex to Black, went for the pin. Aleister kicked out once again at 2. And Lana was yelling at the referee from outside with that ear-shattering yells. Lana ended up yelling at Lashley to finish Black. He ended up going for the spear. Black ended up cutting off Lashley, ended up delivering a big knee to Lashley. And towards the end of the match, Lana got on the apron. She ends up screaming, ear-shattering screaming at Bobby Lashley to hit the spear on Aleister Black. So Lashley ended up putting Aleister down, went for the spear, but Black ended up hitting the Black Mass to Bobby Lashley. So there you go. Aleister Black ended up winning the match. Very easy win for Aleister Black. A match that should not have been on a WrestleMania card. This is something you would see on Monday Night Raw. So post-match, we saw Bobby Lashley. He was frustrated. Him and Lana stared at each other, and basically that was that. So then we had Kayla Braxton. Kayla Braxton was backstage with Bayley and Sasha Banks. Bayley ended up telling Kayla Braxton that tonight's title defense is unfair. And Kayla ended up asking about, the match. She kept asking them about the match. And, how Bayley has to face her best friend, Sasha. Bayley ended up saying that she's just like everyone on Twitter. So Bayley ended up ending the interview, walking off. Kayla ended up stopping Sasha. She ended up asking how bad she wants to be, the SmackDown Women's Champion. So Sasha ends up telling Kayla, we'll just have to wait and see. So Sasha ended up walking off. And then we saw what happened with the 24/7 title, which I don't give a shit, where we saw Mojo, cheated his buddy, Rob Gronkowski, to win it from R-Truth, which we saw at night 1. So we saw Gronkowski was on the perch with Charlie Caruso. Gronkowski ends up telling Caruso that he wouldn't mind winning the 24/7 championship before the night is over. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares about this garbage-ass title that should be fucking retired? I don't know why it's still being used. So moving on. we went to Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. So Dolph Ziggler came out with Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville was right by him. Otis then came out. He was by himself. Where was Tucker during all this? So he rushed. Otis ended up rushing to the ring. Dolph Ziggler ended up going out to the floor. So Otis starts off the match unloading on Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph ended up super kicking Otis. He ended up knocking Otis out to the floor. And Dolph ends up bringing Otis back into the ring. Dolph kept controlling the match. Ended up slamming Otis. Dolph ended up super kicking Otis, but he couldn't put Otis away. Sonya Deville was out there cheering on Dolph Ziggler from the floor. And Dolph ends up kicking Otis. Otis then catches Dolph, launches Dolph into the turnbuckle. Otis got offense on Dolph. So, towards the end of the match, Mandy Rose ends up coming out. She ends up slapping Sonya Deville. And Mandy Rose got in the ring, and she ends up delivering a low blow to Dolph Ziggler. And that led Otis to hit the caterpillar on Dolph, and he went for the pin. There you go. Otis won the match, so which we all wanted to see. So post-match, Otis then celebrated with Mandy Rose. And Otis finally got, a kiss from Mandy. So Otis finally got what he wanted. But there you go. Happy ending for Otis. Overall, the match itself, it was, yeah. But, I'm glad that Otis finally got, Mandy Rose. Which we all wanted to see. And then we went to the last man standing match. Edge versus Randy Orton. Now, this was a match that, I was really looking forward to. The build for this match between the both of them was really awesome, and it was the best build happening on Monday Night Raw. So, but when the match began, I was really enjoying what I was seeing, but the main issue with this match itself was it went on for over 30 minutes, like 36 minutes. It was too long. And another issue in this match was the commentary by Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton. Because at points here, they were just talking like, oh, Edge is going for this move. Oh, Randy Orton's going to RKO Edge. It was like that. It was like they were commentating like they were at a PGA golf show. That's what it felt like. Oh, Edge and Randy Orton are backstage. They're throwing punches at each other. Here comes Edge punching away at Randy Orton. That's how the commentary was during this. That's how the commentary was from Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton at points in this match. But I really liked what I saw here. Randy Orton's music ended up hitting after Edge came to the ring, made his way down to the ring. Orton didn't even appear out of nowhere once his music was hidden. Then we see Randy Orton comes out of nowhere, RKO's Edge, and we went to a replay. And it's shown that Randy Orton was disguised as a cameraman. So we saw him come into the ring, and then he delivered the RKO to Edge. So we heard the referee tell Edge that if Edge can get to his feet, then they will start the match. So Edge finally got up on his feet. Referee went for the bell, called for the bell. Edge ended up swinging, and Orton ended up dodging Edge. He ended up dropping Edge with another RKO. And the whole match went throughout the PC. They were beating down each other through the PC. They went into the gym area. And Edge ended up dropping Orton and taunted him. Orton ended up sending Edge into a wall. Edge was slamming Orton face first into an equipment box that was in the gym area. And Orton was selling that elbow injury. They fought into another production area. Orton was yelling at the cameraman to move. And Orton ended up fighting back in this narrow hallway of the PC. And Edge ended up blocking a shot into a garage door. He ended up slamming Orton face first into the garage door. Referee ended up counting. And they ended up trading shots on a platform where like the LED boards with the WrestleMania graphics were. And Orton was tossing Edge from the platform into the barricade. Referee ended up counting. Orton ended up recovering. And so they went into another hallway towards where like the main offices are of the PC. So Orton then ended up slamming Edge into a plexiglass window. And it was the same office that we saw Ciampa and Ciampa and Gargano brawled in, weeks ago on NXT, where they brawled through the PC. Ciampa ended up slamming Gargano off of the perch, which that was an amazing move. And it had, the long desk in that office. So Edge ended up tossing Randy Orton on top of the conference table, and there was on the ceiling. I guess there was like a chain linked on the ceiling. Edge ended up swinging himself from the ceiling, and he dropped a big elbow drop to Randy Orton on top of the table. And we saw Edge end up beating Orton while they were standing on the floor. They fought back into the hallway, knocks down the cameraman, and they ended up fighting into another area. It was like the storage facility. So another cameraman got knocked over. There were ladders that was standing where they were brawling. And it just went all over the PC. There was a part where they were on top of a truck, and Edge ended up dropping a DDT onto Orton onto the bed of the truck. And we had Edge climb up onto a production case that was next to the truck. Orton was still down on the bed of the truck. He was trying to recover. Edge was on top of a box truck, on an NXT box truck. And Orton was shown climbing after Edge. Orton, Edge, and the referee were on top of the box truck. Orton was going to punt Edge on top of the truck, but Edge ended up leaping at Orton, delivered a spear to Orton. Orton was in pain on top of the truck. Edge went for another spear, but Orton ended up connecting it with the RKO. Orton was back on the floor. He ended up bringing 2 chairs to the top of the truck. And Orton comes up, nails a chair shot at Edge's back. Orton ended up getting down in Edge's face, ended up talking some trash to Edge. Orton was ready to send Edge, back home. And Orton ended up placing a chair under Edge's head, which we all seen before. Orton ended up went to slam the other chair over Edge's head. Edge ended up jumping up, ended up applying a submission. It was the same submission that he used on MVP. So Edge ended up bringing Orton down on top of the truck with a chair under Orton's head. And we saw Edge end up winning the match because Edge ended up swinging the chair at Orton and delivers a chair 2 to Orton. And Edge ended up staring tall to Orton as the referee ended up counting to 10. So there you go. Edge ended up winning the match. But post-match, Edge ends up dropping to his knees in front of Orton, puts his head against Orton, and I guess Edge was whispering something to Orton, and that was basically that. But I liked what I saw. It was a decent match, decent last minute standing match, but the issues, the match ended up going on too long, 36 minutes long, and the commentary was awful during this with Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton whispering like they were commentating a PGA golf game. Overall, Edge and Orton did what they could. They gave us what they got. Oh, and then after that, we had the circus for the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title, where Mojo Rawley was shown ringside, and the talents were ganging up on Mojo. Yeah, they easily broke the CDC social distancing thing. Social distance. They clearly have broken that. So you're supposed to be 6 feet away. Clearly that wasn't loyal to them here. So we saw Rob Gronkowski. He was on the perch that was inside of the PC, of course. He's shown leaping off of the perch, takes everyone down. He covers his buddy Mojo, and Gronkowski is the new 24/7 champion. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about Gronkowski? Who gives a shit about the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title? They both are irrelevant. I don't know who enjoyed what they saw here. This 24/7 title needs to be fucking retired. It's not funny anymore. Why don't you just put it back on R-Truth? It's basically R-Truth's title. He's the longest reigning 24/7 champion. With 36 wins that R-Truth got? So, moving on. Yeah, I'd rather go get an ice cream because the ice cream truck is, hear its music pulling up on my street over here. I'd rather go get an ice cream than talk about this 24/7 garbage with Rob Gronkowski win the title. That's how much I give a shit. Yeah. Moving on. Austin Theory and Angel Garza versus the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team titles. This was a short match. I mean, I like that Austin Theory and Angel Garza were in a match at WrestleMania, but this had no build, no story between them. I'm like, why are these guys fighting? What are they fighting over? There's no story. So Dawkins and Theory end up starting off the match. And Zelina Vega, let's talk about Zelina Vega here. Her attire that she wore last night, I really liked. It was a gold attire. It had golden skulls for the shoulder pads. Thought it was awesome. And so Angelo Dawkins ended up overpowering on Austin Theory, took control of the match. Montez Ford was hyped up on the ring apron. Ford came in for the double team on Dawkins, with Dawkins on Austin Theory. Angel Garza ended up coming in, got double teamed by the Street Profits. And towards the end of the match, you had Dawkins taking advantage of the match, covers Angel Garza on he covered Angel Garza, and then the Street Profits end up win the match, and that was basically that. But Street Profits ended up winning the match, retaining the Raw Tag Team titles. Overall, it was a short match. But post-match, we saw Garza and Austin Theory attack the Street Profits. They beat them down. Dawkins was sent out. And they hold Montez Ford. Vega ends up delivering a big kick to the face. Zelina Vega end up delivering another kick to Theory. So Bianca Belair comes out. So Bianca Belair, she unloads on Zelina Vega, and the Street Profits were taking out Angel Garza and Austin Theory. They sent them out to the floor. Bianca Belair ended up working on Zelina Vega, drops Zelina Vega in the middle of the ring with her finishing move, the KOD. So Bianca ended up standing tall in the middle of the ring, and she ended up celebrating with Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. And pretty much, that was basically that. But, seeing Bianca here was cool. Of course, she came to the aid of her husband, Montez Ford. So, but, this might, give a shot that maybe Bianca is going to be on the Monday Night Raw roster now. But who knows? And then Titus O'Neil showed up on the perch of the PC, and he ends up saying that he's the new WrestleMania host now that Gronkowski is unable to host it. Whatever. So then we had the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha versus Naomi versus Lacey Evans versus Tamina versus Bayley. Match was meh, in my opinion. So Bayley and Sasha end up striking at Tamina first, but they end up getting knocked off. Naomi and Lacey Evans did the same thing, try to strike first at Tamina. Tamina ended up knocking them out of the way. All four then attacked Tamina. Tamina ended up powering her way out of it. Tamina then delivered right hands to Sasha, Naomi, Lacey, and Bayley. And what I found really funny was Michael Cole was like, "Oh, Sasha and Bayley, they almost got eliminated. They almost got eliminated." And then Bayley ends up correcting Michael Cole says, "No, we didn't." I'm like, Michael Cole here. You all know what Michael Cole. The guy's terrible on commentary. So, the end of the match, you had Bayley win the match, retaining the SmackDown Women's Championship because Sasha ended up helping Bayley because it was Bayley and Lacey Evans. Of course, Tamina, Sasha, and Naomi. They ended up getting eliminated from the match, so it was down to Bayley and Lacey Evans. So Sasha ends up running back into the ring, delivers a backstabber to Lacey Evans, and then Bayley ended up taking advantage, went for the pin on Lacey. And there you go. Bayley ended up winning the match, retained the SmackDown Women's Championship. Overall, meh match. So then, post-match, Sasha ends up bringing the SmackDown Women's Championship in the ring. Sasha ends up raising Bayley's arm in the middle of the ring. Bayley ends up talking trash to Michael Cole and JBL. And pretty much, that was basically that. So then we went to the Firefly Funhouse match. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, or the Fiend Bray Wyatt. And this was really hilarious. I really enjoyed this. It was sort of a guilty pleasure. And from what I want to how to describe this Firefly Funhouse match. Let's say it was a big acid trip. That's what I could basically describe for this match. So John Cena came out. He was interrupted by the Firefly Funhouse. So Bray Wyatt appears at the Firefly Funhouse. He ended up talking about how another realm exists filled with monsters and others. Bray Wyatt then addressed John Cena and says he's about to face his most dangerous opponent yet. Of course, was himself. So Bray Wyatt ended up welcoming us to the Firefly Funhouse. And lo and behold, Cena was now in the Funhouse. So Cena was shown, he was spotted, Abby the Witch, Ramblin' Rabbit. Ramblin' Rabbit says, Bray Wyatt went that way. He was telling John Cena that Bray Wyatt went that way, through the door. So Ramblin' Rabbit ends up telling John Cena to be careful. So Cena opens the door, enters, and Cena was shown somewhere dark. And so we see the evil devil puppet, Vince McMahon. So the puppet ends up telling Cena to prove that he has this and that, or he's fired. So Bray Wyatt was shown in the ring. We saw flashes from John Cena's debut in 2002 on SmackDown because we saw flashes of that where he was in the ring with Kurt Angle. John Cena was Kurt Angle's first opponent. On that SmackDown back in 2002, which I still remember to this day. Seeing John Cena, at that age, I was like 10 and a half years old when Cena made his debut. And watching it, at that, I'm like, this guy has, talent. I became, a fan of Cena, in his Thugonomics, the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick that he had. Of course, he had the Chain Gang. So Bray Wyatt repeats that same promo that Kurt Angle cut on that SmackDown in 2002 when John Cena was first in the ring with Kurt Angle. So John Cena came out wearing his his prototype year. And what we saw in a long time, in years, we haven't seen this in years, we saw the return of the SmackDown Fist, from the best SmackDown set from like 2002, I think maybe till about, I would say, 2007, 2008. I don't know when they stopped. I can't remember when they stopped using the fist, the SmackDown Fist stage. But it was great to see the SmackDown Fist again after so many years. So Cena then entered the ring. Bray Wyatt ended up asking Cena what makes him think that he could hang with Bray Wyatt. John Cena says, ruthless aggression. So John Cena kept on swinging, and he kept on missing as Bray Wyatt ended up taunting him. And we just heard, Cena say, ruthless aggression. And then he kept on swinging, kept on missing Bray Wyatt. Cena then ended up chasing Bray Wyatt out of the ring. And so we had Evil Boss, Vince McMahon, Mercy the Buzzard, who was looking like Randy Savage now. And we see a Saturday Night's Main Event intro. We all remember. Sorry about that, but I was saying we saw a Saturday Night's Main Event intro come on. And a lot of you, or possibly might remember Saturday Night's Main Event. Saturday Night's Main Event was, way before my time. It was, back in the 80s. WWE brought it back in like 2006, 2007, because I remember watching it, though. It was the one that had the Stone Cold JBL drinking thing where a ton of beer was in the ring, and Stone Cold and JBL were having like this beer drinking contest. That's the one I remember. I think that was in maybe like 06 or 07. I think it may be 06, though. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. But we saw the gym, the fitness gym version of Bray Wyatt, and he's cutting an old school promo. He was introduced to his tag team partner, who was John Cena. John Cena was like lifting weights, so Bray Wyatt ends up calling him Johnny Large Meat, I think it was. So Cena ends up raging with dumbbells. He was raging dumbbells like crazy. So Abby, which was impressed. So John Cena was shown he couldn't lift his arms, and Bray Wyatt ended up challenging, his inner sort of like Hulk Hogan. And Cena was back in front of the SmackDown Fist. And then we hear his word life theme starts up. So he was shown wearing his Doctor of Thugonomics gear. And it was the same gear that he wore at WrestleMania last year. Just throwback. That was the John Cena that, I always remember. When I think of John Cena, I always think of him with the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick. That was at the time where I became a big fan of John Cena. At that time with the where he had the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick. So John Cena then ended up hitting the ring, and he only spoke in rhyme. He ended up warning Bray Wyatt to run. So Bray Wyatt ended up getting emotional. He ended up talking about how he has had to earn everything and had it taken from John Cena. So Bray Wyatt ended up saying that John Cena is not a hero. He's a bully. He's a horrible person who takes the weaknesses of others and turns them into jokes. Bray Wyatt ended up saying that Cena would do anything for fame. And Bray Wyatt ended up saying that this is John Cena's last chance now, and that the floor is his. So Cena ended up rhyming some more, and he charges into the corner to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt ended up moving. Cena ended up turning back around. He was looking for Bray Wyatt, Bray Wyatt ended up dropping Cena with a right hand. And forgot to mention there was a part here where the Vince McMahon puppet was like, "Oh, this is some good shit," which that was really funny to see. So we saw the first version of Bray Wyatt, with the hat and the long beard that he had, in the rocking chair. We all remember that version of Bray Wyatt. So he was sitting at his home, and we see flashes of the match that they had at WrestleMania 30 6 years ago, where, we all say that was, the ruination of the first version of Bray Wyatt. So he ended up telling John Cena to run. So they jump back to the ring. The old version of Bray Wyatt ended up attacking John Cena. Bray Wyatt ended up, delivering the Sister Abigail, but Cena ended up sliding out. Bray Wyatt ended up saying that that's not enough to end it, but this is. John Cena then grabbed a chair from Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt goes to his knees, put his hands up. He ended up saying that Cena made the wrong choice 6 years ago. So fix it now. So Cena ends up swinging the chair. Bray Wyatt was gone. And then we see the Monday Night Nitro, the WCW Monday Night Nitro graphics flash. Bray Wyatt was in the ring. He was wearing a Wolfpack NWO shirt. So he is channeling Eric Bischoff. And Eric Bischoff was shown several times in these flashes. So Bray Wyatt, who was channeling like Eric Bischoff, introduced John Cena. And John Cena is supposed to be like Hulk Hogan. So Cena came out to the Hollywood Hogan music. He was wearing a black and white NWO shirt. Cena ends up beating down Bray Wyatt. And we saw more flashes of John Cena's career. And Cena ends up swinging. And it was shown he was no longer swinging at Bray Wyatt. He was actually hitting Huskus the pig. So the Fiend ended up appearing behind John Cena. Cena ended up turning around. The Fiend ended up dropping John Cena with the Sister Abigail. And then he applied the mandible claw, holded Cena down. And so we heard laughter. And Bray Wyatt appeared to count a pin. And there we go. The Fiend ended up standing tall. The Fiend ended up winning the fight. Sorry about that, but I was saying the Fiend won the Firefly Funhouse match. But overall, I really enjoyed this. It was hilarious. It was a guilty pleasure for me. If you guys enjoyed the Boneyard match from night one, you all might have liked the Firefly Funhouse match that we saw last night. And there are some people who are gonna like. There were some people who liked this, some people who hated it. Same for the Boneyard match between Styles and Undertaker. Some people enjoyed it, some people didn't. I, for one, enjoyed the Boneyard match. I, for one, here had fun with the Firefly Funhouse match. And this was kind of like, maybe like WWE is resetting on what they did with Bray Wyatt when he lost to Goldberg at Super Showdown. I think, WWE, hopefully, they are, more looking at Bray Wyatt here and trying to take Bray Wyatt more seriously. So hopefully that's what WWE does. Hopefully they take Bray Wyatt seriously after, what we saw in this Firefly Funhouse match. And from what I heard from reports that this was all Bray Wyatt's, idea. I guess he went to WWE and to Vince, and I guess, he wanted to do this whole Firefly Funhouse match, his way. Now, I guess Vince ended up giving him the approval. But from what I heard, this was all Bray Wyatt's idea. But overall, I thought it was very fun. I know there are some people who are going to say they hated this. But I had fun. It was like an acid trip. And then post match, it then cut back to Titus O'Neil, and Titus O'Neil had a shocked look on his face, and he was like, "I have no idea what I just saw," which made me laugh. So, but like I said, I had fun with it. And then we had the main event. Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. This was just your ordinary match. Brock Lesnar here. He's going to be throwing suplex, F5. And Drew McIntyre ended up delivering some Claymore kicks. And that's what basically this whole match was. Drew McIntyre ended up hitting, fourth Claymore kick to Brock Lesnar. And then he ended up pinning Lesnar. There you go. Drew McIntyre is the new WWE champion. And I'm really glad for Drew McIntyre. But at the same time, it's a shame that he had to win the title with what's currently going on right now. There was a crowd. The crowd would have gave McIntyre a big pop. It would have made for a really awesome moment. But sad to say, there was no crowd in that. The only fan that McIntyre won the title in front of was with, the camera guy there. But, I watched the WWE Chronicle on Drew McIntyre and talked about how, he won, the Royal Rumble and, he's going to get, a shot at WrestleMania. Went into it with Brock Lesnar. And then it talked about the COVID-19. And you could tell that, when McIntyre was talking about that, if you guys seen the Chronicle, the WWE Chronicle on Drew McIntyre, which came on after night one, you could see the disappointing look in McIntyre's face. Saying that WrestleMania is not going to take place, is going to take place without a crowd, and you could tell how disappointed he was, in his face. But at the same time, I'm happy for McIntyre to win the title, but at the same time, I feel bad because, he didn't get that moment that he wanted, with the crowd being there and giving him a big pop and giving him a moment that, he will never forget. But post-match, he ended up raising the title. He was on his knees with the title. He was pointing to the camera. He was like, this is for you all. And that was how Night 2 of WrestleMania 36 ended. So, but all in all, I thought Night 2 of WrestleMania was okay. I thought it was a lot better than Night 1, but still terrible. The WrestleMania 36 show as a whole, if you put both nights together, thumbs down show. But, WrestleMania 37 next year, it's going to be in LA. Hopefully, it will be a good, decent Mania next year. And there was a report that came out earlier today that WrestleMania 38, they're jumping, 2 years, into this. There's a rumor going around that WrestleMania 38 is going to be taking place in Tampa. So if that is true, that's good that WWE will make it up to the Tampa fans after, they couldn't make it out to Tampa for this year's Mania because of the whole coronavirus that's going on. So, but, that would be a good thing. They could make it up to the Tampa fans after, what went on this year. Anyways, that's it for my Night 2 review of WrestleMania 36. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you all later tonight with the Monday Night Raw review. And from what I heard in the report, we are going to be seeing once again in a rerun match. We're going to be seeing the Boneyard match again and the Firefly Funhouse match again. Either it's going to be on Raw. One of them's going to be on Raw. One of them's going to be on SmackDown. I'm like, do we really have to rewatch the matches again? I mean, I would rewatch the Boneyard match because that's how, enjoyable it was. But, but do we really have to see them again? But overall, thank you all for watching. And I will see you all tonight with the Monday Night Raw review. So see you all tonight.